Today on Sports and Such, we're going to go through all of my old emails. Dina is joined by the actual most interesting man in the world. Reggie parties down in Deep Ellum. And Mavs play-by-play television announcer Mark Followell matches wits with comedian Paul Varghese. All that and more on Sports and Such. Hello and welcome to Sports and Such. I'm your host, Kevin Turner. Let's get right into the top stories of the week. The Cowboys destroyed a beat-up Giants team last week, 44-20. The Cowboys really grabbed the bull by the horns when Giants star running back Saquon Barkley suddenly started growing a third ankle. They also lost their quarterback and another wide receiver and more players. The Giants lost more players last Sunday than the time Jason Garrett bored everyone with an old high school story.
I had to take wood shop the spring trimester of my senior year, and it was the last class of the day, and Mr. Howarth was the wood shop teacher. And Mr. Howarth was central casting. If you're making a movie, you need a wood shop teacher, Howarth's your guy.
Wood shop class? He lost me on that one. I'm out. Up next for the Cowboys, they hit the road to the Northeast to take on the Patriots in a game that features the head-to-head matchup that we've all been waiting for. Roof. Elsewhere in NFL news.
All I can say is I'm not a racist.
Are you sure about that, John? John Gruden resigned as Raiders head coach on Monday night after multiple emails surfaced from the past decade, including racist, misogynistic, and homophobic comments. This is obviously a very troubling story, but there was one guy who was happy for all this stuff to come out. Now there's a lot to talk about, like who's going to be the next head coach of the Raiders. And if they want maximum performance edge, they should take a long shot and go after legendary Cowboys head coach Jimmy Johnson.
So if you want that maximum performance edge every day, I say go long with Extends. I do.
Gross. Oh, why did he agree to do that commercial? So what's next? These emails all surfaced due to a toxic workplace case with the Washington football team. The New York Times article that fully exposed John Gruden says there are 650,000 emails that the NFL is going through. I'm guessing a lot of old white guy NFL owners bought a box of Tiff's treats for their IT dude this week. If you could just make it go away, we'll give you some cookies, and we will. Elsewhere to fun stuff, Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow suffered a throat contusion, an injury so rare that even WebMD, the hypochondriac's paradise, has no idea what you're asking for when you search it. And the wildest part about it is he wasn't alone. Browns linebacker Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah is a hard name to say, but he also suffered a throat contusion. It just goes to show you that playing professional football in the state of Ohio quite literally feels like being punched in the neck. Just ask Johnny Football. The Vikings beat the Lions on a last-second field goal, and quarterback Kirk Cousins and head coach Mike Zimmer were so excited that they kicked each other's ass.
Finish, but the Vikings at the buzzer.
In London last week, the NFL did that bit where they send two bad teams overseas to entertain the UK. In a matchup nobody was waiting for, it was the Jets and the Falcons. And you know what? I actually don't have a problem with that. You can send two bad teams over there. They eat that stuff up. I mean, we're talking about people who love tea and soccer. My problem is less about sending bad teams and more about the NFL betraying the homeland by giving us an 8:30 a.m. kickoff with a boring announcer. I mean, at least spice it up. If we're going to get up early, don't give us Greg Gumbel. And in his defense, Greg Gumbel, he's not even the most boring person in his family. That title belongs to his brother Bryant. But we're waking up early over here and we're falling asleep on the couch because of the bad football and the boring announcers. Give us Peyton Manning or a gyrating Mick Jagger or CeeLo Green and his parrot. Perhaps a celebrity chef making some breakfast foods and letting the mascots do a taste test. You know, classic morning show stuff. Just don't give us Greg Gumbel. On second thought, it could have been worse. At least we didn't get pink-eyed Bob Costas. Oh yeah, and the Falcons won that game, 27 to never mind, no one cares. The Mavs are just over a week away from getting their season underway with new head coach and four-time Hoboken Evening Bowling League champion. But you got to give J-Kid credit, right? The last head coach would just burp in your face and scowl like Clint Eastwood if you asked him to promote some Mavs gear. In other basketball news, Kyrie Irving was told that he won't be able to play or practice with the Nets until he is eligible to be a participant, which is code for we're not allowed to tell you that he's not vaccinated. Kyrie is a wild one. He's been on the record saying that the earth is flat and has liked many Instagram posts from conspiracy theorists claiming that the vaccine is a master plan of Satan. And now he's going to lose $35 million if he doesn't play this year. $35 million. That's nothing, said John Gruden. A new survey showed that 39% of American adults work out 0 times per week, which is the same amount of times that Larry King's marriages worked out. The annual Texas-Oklahoma game was held last Saturday, right in the middle of our show, which is fine considering that game was a total snooze fest. Okay, on second thought, maybe it was the worst possible time for our show to air. Oklahoma came back from 21 down to win 54-48, and we still don't know if OU starting quarterback Spencer Rattler was benched or just appeared to have a few corn dogs on the midway. Or maybe he just wanted to find that fox that ran on the field in the first quarter. In 3 men who are totally not sad and lonely news, Rutgers employs these guys to help call plays.
I thought it was a huge flag that was being thrown.
Well, he's moving really quick.
Yeah.
Whoa, looks like the Wiggles are all grown up.
They're all very old.
What do you mean they're all old?
They've been like they're grown men already.
The Wiggles were always grown men? For Liberty, it was a nice game for star running back first name, last name. Ma and Paul last name must be so proud. Our Sports and Such fan of the week goes to this lady at the Arizona State game who ripped off her prosthetic leg and showed it off like a shiny new pet. And it turns out that fake leg was actually the perfect storage unit for the bottle of whiskey she snuck into the game. Way to go, Kathy. And if you're wondering, Arizona State had a leg up on the competition, beating Stanford 28-10. That does it for this week's top stories. Up next, Dina chats with the most interesting man in the DFW, Levi Weaver. Next on Sports and Such.
What was your inspiration? What made you decide to go into music? How'd that happen?
I grew up just south of Cleburne, Texas, and there were no like open mic like comedy nights or anything. Like there's just no opportunity to do that. If there had been, I probably would have done that instead of music because it really was like the interaction with the audience that was my. I officially retired in 2014. My family and I moved into an RV because I was tired of traveling without them, and we just drove around, like lived in an RV for a year.
So you moved back from the UK.
Yeah.
And you buy an RV or what?
So
Hold on, before you get started.
Yeah.
Is it, you can hear?
It's not the best, but I can hear.
What were we talking about?
I don't know. Oh, we're in a different place.
When you retired from making music, when for so long that had been kind of your avenue of
Right.
expression, and
Yeah, that was the outlet, right?
So what did you turn to when you kind of quit that?
Alcohol. Or Moyle, who worked at WFAA Channel 8 at the time.
Yeah.
I'd done like some blogging about the Rangers for him, and
Just out of hey, I
Boredom.
love the Rangers. I'm bored. I'm done with music.
yeah,
Let me
I mean,
just...
I didn't know that I was done with music for sure, but it was like while I'm waiting for this to come back, yeah, I'll do like every couple of weeks I'll write an article about the Rangers. They pay me like $20 an article, it's, a penance.
Yeah.
But I've been a baseball fan since I was a kid. Like this is so different and so not what I'm used to doing that it didn't feel like work anymore. Like I think in retrospect I was burned out on music because I'd just done 100 plus shows a year for 10 years. So I quit, started my own site. It was called The Upset, and that existed for about 3 months. We tried to hire Bob Sturm, and he was like, "Hey, I'm sorry, I really want to do it, but I'm going to work for The Athletic." We didn't know that they were coming to Dallas. We were like, "Oh no, that was unexpected."
But
And
then,
long story short, they
Jackpot.
basically just came in and swooped us up, and we all sort of went to The Athletic en masse.
the Upset turned into The Athletic, and then here you are, full-time sports writer for the Texas Rangers.
Yeah, I like traveling. Like I'm a member of the Baseball Writers Association now. This is my 6th year on the beat, and I still feel like a total rookie. But we were, TR's retired. Evan's not there all the time. Sometimes he'll have a backup. And there's been a couple of times I look around and like, I am the longest tenured beat writer here today. how did this happen? Like,
I was in an RV traveling the country with my family.
Yes, and I still feel
yesterday.
Imposter syndrome is so real, but like, I don't think it counts as imposter syndrome when you really just walked into a gig after no preparation. Like,
we don't believe in littering here at Sports and Such.
I literally was an imposter, and it just worked out.
Is there any similarities in the process of writing lyrics versus writing an article for sports? Is there any similarities there in that process?
There is. If I write a sentence that I'm bored by, I'll go back and like, let's find a different way to put that. I want the reading to be compelling.
Yeah.
And just, like with lyrics, that was my thing. I wasn't a great guitarist. I was an okay, melody writer. I didn't have a great voice. I could keep a tune, but I wasn't like a virtuoso vocalist. But my lyrics were like, that was my calling card. The difference is with songwriting, like I could wait around for lightning to strike, and then be like, inspiration. Yes, I'm gonna write about that. And here it's like, if I was to go 2 weeks and not write a story, my bosses would be like, hey, just want to let you know, you're fired. Yeah.
Do you go into your profession thinking like, there is still a base that loves to read, and I'm going to be there for them, and I'm going to continue writing because that's what I love? Or do you go into it thinking, okay, I'm going to evolve this in some way?
Yeah. That's a good question. I am only ever going to be good at being myself. I think because I went at that with such, I don't even think confidence is the right word. It was just like, it was not high stakes for me. It was, well, if this fails, I'll just go back and do music. So I think the sort of free spirit and willingness to take risks that people for whom their mortgage was resting on this job would not have taken. I think the readers really related to that, and I was able to build an audience. But I do think for now there's a large enough niche audience that will continue to read articles as long as I make them worth reading. And if I'm putting in the effort to make it something that you're gonna sit down for 10 minutes and have a good read, and you're gonna learn something but be entertained or feel something, as long as I'm accomplishing that goal, I do think there'll be a large enough audience that likes to read. Now, I'm 40, right? Hopefully that lasts another 30 years and then I can just retire. But if it changes and I have to do something else, then, I've made one life change. I am now somebody for whom my mortgage relies on this job. So, that's scary. But yeah, it'll be something else. And it's nice to have the confidence to go, you did that once. If you have to do it again, it's going to be big and scary and horrifying, and you're going to just want to throw up every day. But you've done it before, so maybe you can do it again.
What's happening? Reginald Atatula here, and this is Streets and Such. The streets, Deep Ellum. The topic, Jason Kidd, the new head coach of that team right there, the Dallas Mavs. So Rick Carlisle, not the coach of the Mavs anymore. Do you know who is?
That would be Jason Kidd.
Are you familiar with Jason Kidd?
No.
Love Jason Kidd. He's got a lot of history with the program. I'm ready to see what he can do, for real.
I was really pushing for Mosley, the assistant coach, who is now with the Magic. I'm not too impressed with Kidd's resume so far, but sometimes with coach it's about fit rather than, a specific team. So I hope that he, Nico, and Cuban can get it together.
Do you think that the Mavs should have hired someone older, maybe like a Jason Adult?
Maybe Jason Teen.
Do you know what Jason Kidd's dog's name is?
No.
Okay, I didn't either. I was hoping that maybe. Okay. If you could hire anybody else, like a fictional coach from like a sports movie or something, who would you hire instead?
Oh my goodness. You know what? I'm gonna go with Space Jam and go Coach Bugs.
What would you say is your favorite sports movie?
Bring It On.
That was quick. All right, Bring It On. What do you like about Bring It On?
I forgot. Is it a cheerleading movie?
Okay, but if Jason Kidd was gonna name a dog, what do you think is a good name for a dog?
Waffles.
Why waffles?
Because it's food and it's fun, and just, can you imagine yelling waffles outside at like 3 a.m.?
I can't. Jason Kidd's Wikipedia page says that he ranks second in the NBA all-time in careers and assists and steals. Do you agree with that? There was a famous rapper that penned the lyrics "Kiddin' Like Jason" in their hit song in 2002. Do you know who it is?
Sounds like Wayne.
It does sound like Wayne, but it's not. Do you remember what famous rapper penned the lyrics "Kidding Like Jason" in their hit song in 2002?
You got me. What is it?
Nelly, "Hot in Here." Do you remember that song?
Oh yeah. Throwback. Okay.
You got a "Hot in Here" remix.
I swear to you, look,
You can't draw this up.
look. I'm telling you. It's on private on my SoundCloud, but
Okay, so you're a rapper.
oh yeah, listen to this. I'm telling you.
Okay, he won the title in 2011 on the team. What were you guys doing in 2011?
Going to elementary school. Yeah, I was on the playground, bro.
So what did we learn on the streets of Deep Ellum today, kids? 1, Waffles is a great name for a dog. 2, I should probably get better at putting microphones in people's faces. And 3, the people seem to be cool with Jason Kidd as the head coach of the Mavericks. So with that being the case, can't wait to get the Mavericks season started. I'm Reginald Datatula, and this has been Streets and Such.
Oh my goodness. We've made it to the game show portion of Sports and Such. Hey, it was a long road to get here. You remember the last 25 minutes? I bet you do. Today, we are joined by 2 local luminaries. Give it up for North Texas great, the television voice of the Dallas Mavericks, Mark Followell. Also joining us is the comedian, Paul Varghese.
Thank you, KT. Now, of course, if I wanted to pass on the humble route, then I would tell you to also add Olympic broadcaster, World Cup broadcaster, college football on the Big Ten Network. But I'm not that kind of guy, man. I'm not going to do that to you.
Today, we're playing a very fun game show. It's going to be quick. 3 questions. The first question is worth 1 point. We will start in alphabetical order. So, Mark, you will go first.
Okay.
It's a higher lower game.
Okay.
Mark, what year was the compilation album Jock Jams Volume 1 released?
Okay. I'm going to say that that would be 1997.
It's lower than 1997, Paul.
Ironically, I still work out to Jock Jams, so I would say 1994.
It's higher than 1994. Mark?
I'm going to say, how about 1996?
It's lower than 1996. If Paul can figure this one out.
It's somewhere between January and December of 1995.
That's correct. 1995, Jock Jams Volume 1 was released. 1 point for Paul Varghese.
For the record, I got the bootleg version in 1994.
We'll go to Paul here. This is question 2. Question 2 is worth 2 whole points.
Whoa.
Now, I threw this one in here because I knew both of you guys are avid dog lovers. So, according to a poll on the internet.webcom.sports, what percentage of women find it attractive when a man is outwardly affectionate towards dogs?
Okay, so I don't know where Mark lives, but I live near the West Village, so I'm over by. We can't mention places without them being sponsors, right? I'm there a lot, and I would say out of all the women there, 87% of them are not creeped out that I have a dog.
It's lower than 87%.
I'm going to say the answer to that question is 59%.
It's higher than 59%. Back over to Paul.
It is 77%, in credit to my birth year.
Higher than 77%, and he outed himself.
I'm going to say, how about 81%?
Lower than 81%. The bridge has been narrowed.
Okay. So, 79.
79% is correct. Paul has taken a 3-0 lead, which takes us to question 3, worth 5 points.
There's still hope for Followell, in other words.
There's still hope for Followell. And Mark, you will actually get to go first on this one. The final countdown, the 5-point question for the championship. The winner gets to come back in season 2. The loser We'll go to the losers bracket, and I'll probably holler at you for some more action in season 2. I don't have a lot of friends. Mark, how many U.S. presidents were born in a log cabin?
Wow. Okay. Presidents born in a log cabin. I'm going to say the answer to that is 16.
It's lower than 16.
Okay.
I would say 1.
It's higher than 1. I see the game he's playing here. He's keeping the gap wide.
Yeah. Well, how about 5?
Higher than 5.
Okay.
All right, well, it's 9. We all know it's 9.
It's lower than 9.
Well, in that case, I'm sure we all know that it's 8.
It's lower than 8.
Are you kidding me? I learned this the first day of kindergarten. It's 7.
It is 7.
Oh.
You have to name it wrong, otherwise you don't get the points. I'm kidding. No one remembers Millard Fillmore. Was it Millard Fillmore was the president?
Yes, Millard Fillmore. Yeah, Millard Fillmore took over after the death of Zachary Taylor, right?
Zachary Taylor, correct.
Yeah. This is how I'm trying to get my 8 points back since I got skunked in this 8-0 by Paul.
Guys, thank you so much for joining me. We really appreciate having you. I love everything that you do. I know you're very busy, guys. You can catch Mark on every Dallas Mavericks television broadcast, of course. And Paul, you can catch him, doing shows all the time, everywhere. Never stops, never stopping.
Hey, man, that dog is on the floor as much as James Harden is on the floor.
Oh,
that was my chance to throw in a comedy bit whenever Paul is on. So
This is my impression of a fire emoji.
All right, that does it for this week's episode of Sports and Such. I want to thank this week's guest, Levi Weaver of The Athletic, Mark Followell from the Dallas Mavericks TV broadcast, and comedian Paul Varghese. We're back next week at the same time. I'm Kevin Turner, and I love you.